Hunter saves it. Hunter Hughes is coming around. Here comes Colton Garner. It's Hunter Hughes!
Turn 4 for the final time. Who's got more ponies? Checkered flag out. Bluegrass 150 goes to Ian Miller.
And welcome back to the Daily Dribble Podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit.
Good, get the name out there. It's like, hey, Joseph Newgarden, you're the guy with the sperm commercial. Yeah.
Round number 7 of the Indy Racing World Series. It's the Grand Prix of Portland as we get set for 50 minutes here in a new track, the Pacific Northwest. And let's get you all drama. We didn't even get an opportunity to talk about Ian Miller on the pole because he spun from it. Well, if he can get back to the point, he's going to be on pole position in an incredible return to the front of the IRWS. He's alongside Lucas Puntarelli, Hunter Hughes in third, alongside championship points leader Matthew Faust, Tyler Lugo Vickery, and Erik Richardson. Your third row with Derek Booker and Eduardo Martinez further behind. Just a little bit further back, you've got Bill Molefield rounding out your 9-car deep field. Quick look at what we should watch for here, because again, it is going to be interesting. Should be a two-stopper because for the first time in Indy Racing World Series history, rain and wet weather is on the horizon. Should have a little bit of a spray here at around, let's see, should be at about 10 minutes in when the weather starts, based on our predictions, and our guesses don't actually tell us how long that should be taking. So going to be very interesting and will for sure be a survival of wits. Quick look at your championship standings here before we go green, and it is Hunter Hughes trying to close a dominant 60-second gap to Lucas Puntarelli and close that gap to Matt Faust out in front. It's been challenging. Cars have spun during qualifying, during practice, and when the rain comes, it's only going to make things more interesting, make things more dangerous. Who's going to be the best in the Pacific Northwest? Let's find out. It's a great return to form as Ian Miller going to lead them all down Sheldon chicane for the first time. Couple of looks further back as Hunter Hughes tries to get through. Same for Lucas Puntarelli. He's got to go wide as Miller defends middle. Coming out of the chicane, but Miller leading Puntarelli, Hughes, Tyler Lugo Vickery, and your championship leader Matthew Faust. No drama at the start. Hunter Hughes looks to the inside at turn number 6. He wants to make that another position forward. Little side by side, big tip on the outside. He's has to be so careful. This could be shades of Daly and Rasmussen at the real-life Grand Prix of Portland, but Hunter Hughes clears him for P2 around the inside of Lucas Puntarelli and tries to bring that pace to Ian Miller. Move at the start there, and some early positions lost for Tyler Lugo Vickery. He started on the harder gray primary tires. Everybody else, knowing the rain coming, electing for the alternatives. And already Ian Miller starting to peel ahead, and the rain has already opened up. And everybody immediately starting to tiptoe on power here. And most notably, there will be, just like the street courses we've ran, there will be no course caution. We're seeing the rain start to gather in certain areas of the track now. But again, the ultimate question is that going to be enough to justify coming in and switching over to those wet weather tires? 2 laps in, Ian Miller still your leader. Hunter Hughes starting to chip away at that gap as well. Watch the fronts. As Hunter Hughes sets the purple lap, blocking up the front. It's going to be a big decider here. Not just into Sheldon chicane, but that final complex of corners has been known to be very, very difficult for these drivers. Ian Miller's first time back behind the wheel of an IndyCar since May of this year. With the 10th place finish at Fontana. Last win was April at Mid-Ohio. Should be no surprise for anyone who watched, anyone who saw earlier this year in Season 5. This guy's a road course ringer. And I think that was a big incentive for him to come back this time by and go ahead and pull the trigger. There is prowess, especially in these loose conditions. He's already shown it. He's holding a 1-second gap right now. As further back, Lucas Puntarelli starts to mount a return attack on Hunter Hughes. Everybody still within conversation distance of one another. Just a little bit further back, battle for 4th underway as Matthew Faust continues to pounce on Tyler Lugo Vickery, who goes wide out of the turn 7 hairpin. Now we're 2 abreast as we work our way down the back straightaway. Faust fully clears him for P4. No use of hybrid further back. Everybody being so careful with one another, knowing what is at risk here. Big lunge there from Hunter Hughes. You can see some experimentation from Lucas Puntarelli. We know rain is the grand equalizer, but it's also the grand upsetter. Hunter Hughes and Lucas Puntarelli, big dose of opposite luck. Working out of Sheldon chicane. Hughes and Puntarelli go wide. Hunter Hughes goes completely off track. Puntarelli nearly into the marbles as everybody's struggling for grip. He thought lap 10 was the point where everybody would have to come in. It might be this time by. DJ Fluck wasting no time. He's made the switch over. Same for Tyler Lugo Vickery. Erik Richardson. Oh my goodness. A little bit too much right foot and immediately bins it on pit exit. Oh my goodness. Puntarelli able to fend off from Hunter Hughes for the time being. And somehow everybody able to keep it on course. But your top 3, unshockingly, coming in to switch over to these tires. Tyler Lugo Vickery making that switch. Martinez and Faust both staying out. What's gone on with Matthew Faust? He's just working in further back. So again, what to watch out for here, as that should be lasting us a solid distance here. Here's what we can expect, though, from the track itself. First opened in Portland, Oregon in 1961 from the former township near PIR, and has hosted a plethora of NASCAR, Trans Am, IMSA races. Now home, well, for the last year for the time being, of the ARCA Menard Series, as well as IndyCar, which has just been confirmed again this next year, but a former... There we go. The former... I hate how I don't remember the name of this township off rip, but a former community that was flooded out, ironically, just by rain damage, and motivated them to rebuild what was formerly neighborhood streets and park driving areas into a racetrack. And since the 60s, it has been a state-owned federal spot. Did we just see a move earlier? We did, because Ian Miller might have had a miscommunication in the pit lane as he has made the switch over from wets to wets. When was the last time he came into pit? That is him coming onto the wrong set of tires, and he will have to come in for a fresh pair of kicks. If anyone can close that gap, though, it is Ian Miller. Lucas Puntarelli was joking before we got on air, saying, can I just have one win this year, please? Ian Miller comes out for his return. He's been phenomenal. Matthew Faust has been an absolute dynamo. Tyler Lugo-Vickery is looking to get a black belt again and go back into the butt kicker series with a 2.5-second lead. Could this be his day? We're not even a fifth in. Only time will tell. But he leads laps for the first time tonight. And it is looking solid for the 85 for the time being. Hunter Hughes trying to close that gap. We did see a chink in that armor earlier on as he went a little bit wide. But one of the guys who stood on your podium at Laguna Seca, absolutely capable of closing that gap. Lap traffic in the way here as we ride on board with the Twitch TV machine, or looking back at the Twitch TV machine. See the colossal Rooster tail. This is creating another mistake there for Hunter Hughes as he goes off in the exact same corner, turn 4. You can see this tightrope right now that all of these drivers are performing. Final complex with turns 9, 10, and 11 so difficult. Trying to not lock up those front tires. As you're constantly trying to turn and steer at the same time. But Hunter Hughes absolutely has that pace. He's not making mistakes. He's closed that gap down to a second already, but he's locked it. Oh my goodness, off into Sheldon chicane. What were we talking about? Completely parked to a dead stop. And we'll watch that boulder roll back to the bottom of the hill. Tyler Lugo-Vickery going through. Now we'll promote TLV up into P6, or excuse me, up into P2 with the number 6 car. Now all of a sudden this becomes a battle further back for P2, unless Hunter Hughes spins coming out of turn 7. Oh my goodness. I think saying when it rains it pours might be putting it a little bit too thick right now for Hunter Hughes. But disaster has started to unfold for the 18, and now here comes Matthew Faust. This Rooster tail combined with this colossal new aero screen has made visibility so difficult with these aero screens to follow a car. Even at that distance, you can see the Rooster tail being made there. It is so difficult to have your mark set. Your right up on someone's gearbox. That was another major thing that a lot of drivers were trying to learn here in qualifying. Puntarelli just with a 3-second and change lead over Tyler Lugo Vickery. That gap is absolutely closing. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. And the big question is, how long can Puntarelli keep that lead? And the bigger question, when is the rain going to give out? We're already starting to see the rain start to die down in certain parts of the racetrack. When will the rain stop? When will the track die down and give us enough grip to make that switch back over to the dries? 2 seconds now, the gap between Lugo Vickery. Well, Mofield just watched Ian Miller squeeze early contention for the championship with a phenomenal duel. Win on debut at Kentucky, made it 3 in a row at Richmond, Detroit. Has done a little bit of stock car stuff as well as jumped over into the Xfinity cars almost exactly a year ago, just a year ago, for Wednesday Night Dash at COTA, and then Watkins Glen in the Cup cars. Again, most recent win at Mid-Ohio. The rain's starting to die down, and Ian Miller starting to set a radar lock on Derek Booker. You can see the sun starting to peek through again on this track. Oh, Ian Miller goes wide. Booker goes wider. This will be an easy takeaway. And as simple as you like, Ian Miller works his way up into P5. Higher learning curve for the Indy kid, Derek Booker in the Mach 5. But still a top 5 position to try and maintain those championship hopes. This is exactly what Hughes and Puntarelli were hoping. So long as Matt Faust can stay outside of the podium spots, they can start to mount a championship fight once again. Another big wiggle there on exit. As next car up the road, unfortunately, is a whole 20 seconds up ahead. It's Matthew Faust in P4. Again, we've still got 35 laps to go. Oh my goodness. Ian Miller doing so much driving on throttle right now, basically pivoting the car without even using the wheel, without using the hands at all, coming out of Sheldon. Just a tiny flick and then putting the right foot down to spin those rears. You can see that wiggle again there, coming out of 4. And this is the rain dance. Staying on the absolute limit of grip. Oh my goodness. Can we call that commentator's curse? Is that the commentator's curse striking again? It might be. Another spot lost. Now Booker gets that P5 spot back. But you can see the course kind of start to slick up right now and go from being totally wet to just getting into puddles in certain areas. And drivers right now are actually going to be forcing those tires to where the water is on track. Yes, on paper, there's less grip there, but you want that for these tires. You want to keep them cool. You want to have a space on track where you can channel that water out. That's what keeps these Firestone wet weather tires happy. That's why Lucas going all the way outside the racing line there, nearly into the grass, trying to find where the water is. Lap traffic up ahead, one car around, Hunter Hughes. Tyler Lugo Vickery might have gotten collected as a result. He goes through with minimal drama. That's a big moment for Hunter Hughes, and just like that, Tyler Lugo Vickery goes up into second. Matthew Faust up into third. And he is right on the racing line. And here comes Derek Booker and Ian Miller further back. And again, in all of these drivers just trying to close this gap to the leader. So many guys have just been asking for a little bit too much. Again, Tyler Lugo Vickery just barely on the track limit there, all the way to the white line, trying to find water wherever it may be. .5 seconds the gap now between TLV and Matthew Faust. As a little bit wide there goes Lugo Vickery, but again, it's chipping away. So again, Matthew Faust, your points leader, 70 points back is Hunter Hughes. Derek Booker, 15 points after that. As Erik Richardson actually back in fourth. So it really is Faust's championship to lose at this point with, what, 3-4 rounds to go? And these podium runs, these top 5 runs, are all he's really going to need to keep that insurance gap out. And especially with Hunter Hughes now running further back in P4, that gap is going to expand once again between Hughes and Faust. Oh, big wiggle there for Puntarelli. Almost a tank slapper there. And we've got a battle on our hands. Is either going to come into the pit lane just yet? Not quite. Tyler Vickery looking down low there, trying to find water, middle of the racetrack. Puntarelli outside in the water. Dry versus wet lines. Puntarelli's got to arch it nice and wide. Lugo Vickery in incredibly shallow. That gives Tyler Lugo Vickery the advantage. Erik Richardson off just a little bit further up the road. As now Derek Booker once again reignites that defense from Ian Miller. He looked all the way to the inside into Sheldon chicane and wanted to make that move possible. As we're at the halfway point, Ian Miller knows if he has any shot at getting at the podium, it involves a move right here and right now on the Mach 5. We'll get back to that later because, again, Tyler Lugo Vickery continues to put that pressure on Lucas Puntarelli. Flip script of what we saw earlier. They'll both go all the way down to the pit attenuator. But Lugo Vickery continues to look down low, now fades it up to the middle. Who's able to plant and launch out of Sheldon? Great pace further back. Puntarelli, phenomenal pace off corner. And just further back, this battle reigniting as well. Matthew Faust versus Hunter Hughes. Anywhere you look, we've got a fight going on. We'll keep it out in front right now because we've got major implications for what could be Lucas Puntarelli's first win. Oh my goodness, mistake. He goes all the way off. Oh my goodness, commentator's curse. Strikes again, Puntarelli. Too much right foot on the back straightaway. And that is front corner damage for the 85. Wow. Faust up into second. Hughes tries to not do the same through turn 10. Absolute heartbreak for Lucas Puntarelli. As we try and find what happened here. And maybe just driving off the mirrors a little bit too much. Tyler Lugo Vickery absolutely putting the pressure on. You can see him trying the wide line around the outside there. Shades of Max Verstappen finding grip on the outside of the track. Was it just using the curb on the inside? Oh my goodness, it was. Getting that back left tire into the curbing where it was nice and slippy and just pivoted the car around. Now the ultimate question, is this a gift in disguise? Because he is now back out in P6, but has moved back over to the Redwall alternative tires. Was this the right time to make that move? Tyler Lugo Vickery promoted to your leader. Faust continues to battle with Hunter Hughes now. This is for P2. See both of these drivers going middle. Hughes trying to defend and keep that optimal line. But Matthew Faust staying right there to try and keep that draft. Two wins for Matthew Faust so far this year. One of them at Phoenix, another 2 weeks ago at World Wide Technology Raceway. Hunter Hughes, the only road course winner so far this year. He got it done at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, battling with that very person, and that is more drama. Oh my goodness. Lucas Puntarelli with what looked like another mistake. And it was in the exact same spot where it happened a lap prior. Just taking the left-hand side of that car into that curbing, pivots it around. Looks like he's able to actually keep it out of the wall that time. And has kept it going. Now he's going back in. Is that to go back to wets? It might be. At this point, it should be just commitment. And staying on those dry weather tires. The track is not going to get any wetter at this point, you can see. As we're right on board with Hunter Hughes, the clear skies that are coming. Now Hunter Hughes really starting to take off from Matthew Faust. 3 seconds the gap between them. But we are absolutely at that transfer point now, where drivers might be starting to think about moving over to those tires. You can already see guys, again, migrate off of that main line, go middle track, offline, trying to find any water that's left for these tires. You can see just how jerky the motion is going around the corner when the car loads up on grip and it falls off. Showing you the kind of tightrope that all of these drivers have to manage right now in these mixed conditions. CJ Fluck in the pits, Erik Richardson out. And a 5-second gap right now for Tyler Lugo Vickery. Puntarelli back out on the track. He is, unfortunately, a lap down. And again, just because there's puddles out on track right now, there are still other parts where it is truly baked in right now, and the track is just damp. And that also makes it very, very difficult. It would just be outright slippy. Slippery. Slippery or slippy? Slippery. going off of where the puddles are. So again, that tightrope walk is continuing. So we should probably, as it starts to dilute just a little bit, kind of address the elephant in the room that we're watching on stream. Or I suppose it's the QR code on screen right now, and that is, of course, if you couldn't tell, our effort for Streamers Against Suicide, as we're working towards $500 donated to the American Association for Suicide, or excuse me, American Association for Suicide Prevention. Already $270 in. But again, you can scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen and donate for what is a phenomenal cause. Huge thanks to Betty and Dave Fluck, because I accidentally dragged that up. We're $210 in, $500 is our goal, and we've got about 2 weeks left to go. Really, really appreciate it if you guys donated for a phenomenal cause. And just in this stream, we'd also like to thank JM Motorsports and Colton Gardner for donating 20 and 40 doubloons into that as well. Let's ride on board with Tyler Lugo Vickery here. Out of Sheldon Chicane, shades of Monza there. As we work through turn 3, the endless right-hander of Monza. Just trying to balance the car there. You can see Tyler trying to balance the wheel there, find the optimum point of grip. Great overtaking opportunity right here, the hairpin at turn 7. Another big acceleration zone. This is where we saw the setup for that dramatic moment earlier on. We'll watch the Lucas Puntarelli clear Eduardo Martinez here down the back stretch. So hard on the brakes here into 9, 10, and 11, trying so hard not to lock up the fronts as you're constantly turning and steering. Back onto the front straightaway and on to the drag strip to end a lap at Portland. Now lap traffic being a little bit of a turner of the cauldron here as both Puntarelli and Martinez go off there. Hunter Hughes trying to close that gap. It has gone down to 3 seconds. Oh, Eduardo Martinez almost off. And just like that, this is absolutely evolved into a battle again. 2.5 seconds the gap as we are halfway home in the Grand Prix of Portland. Hunter Hughes starting to get into view here of Tyler Lugo Vickery. Once again, track continues to dry off here, but again, we don't know that point of full turnover right now. It's still 50-50. Oh, another issue for Hunter Hughes. And again, spins around. on the gas a little bit too quick there. As we see the replay working into turn number 7. Let's see what happened here to the 18. Boom, curbs of death. I knew it. Every single time we've seen a car go around in the back half of the racetrack, it's just because you're touching that curbs on the outside, dealing with 2 different levels of grip, both which are already insanely low, by the way. You are asking to spin if you're touching the curbs. So pretty much the first thing anyone will be told in learning how to drive in the wet: do not touch the curbs. It is potentially death. In GT cars, it can be a little bit less dramatic because you have TC, you have other aids helping you out. But in something as physical and demanding as an Indy car, it is absolutely something you don't want to do. You can see there with Hughes, again, having to do a big dose of opposite lock there to keep it straight. You get on the gas with just your back left on the curbing, all it wants to do is spin. So just like that, a 10-second gap now developing between Hughes and Vickery. "30 laps away here at Portland. We will step aside for just a moment and leave you with the sights and sounds of the rain dance. Stay with us. Great view of the handwork here of the number 6 of Tyler Lugo, Vickery. And next time we work into Sheldon, take a special look here on just how quickly he's working through the gears. Also how close he gets to the wall on the inside here. Game of inches there on the right-hand side. but immediately goes up into second, short shifting there to try and keep traction in the rears. Really great way to save tires and potentially save yourself from spinning. That was absolutely unreal. I did not intend to. So let's see what happened to Hunter Hughes. Oh my God. I was about to say Hunter Hughes just switched over to the dry primaries. But even now, it might seem like that was a little bit too soon because he's been struggling to keep it on the road. Hauls his way back on the power, just major understeer on the chicane, and that's when we just jumped back in and immediately sent it back into the pit lane. And is disconnected. Ian Miller, however, is absolutely still in this mix. He's advanced himself back up into P3, and that's because Derek Booker has come in as well. Here he is now in the Mach 5 machine. DJ Fluck doing the same. Is this a jump over to wet tires? It doesn't look like it. He stayed on. Interesting. So stopping for fuel, yes. That will put him a whole lap down as here comes Ian Miller. Only a couple of cars on the lead lap now. So only your podium on the lead lap right now, is that is more trouble for Derek Booker. Nearly having another incident there. Puntarelli has stayed out on track. He is 2 laps down. Mofield and Booker 2 laps down. And Tyler Lugo Vickery now with a 15-second lead over Matthew Faust. Ian Miller working his way through traffic. And we start to wonder when that exchange point is going to be. Because yes, by now, we would have a dry track if it were conventional IndyCar, but we've only got about 9 cars on track doing the drying. We've got no jet dryers, but we do have 9 or 8 Dallara IndyCars capable of channeling all that water off of the racing line. And here we go, Tyler Lugo Vickery coming in from the lead. What is the response from P2, Matthew Faust? He will come in. Question 2, does Lucas Puntarelli have enough fuel to go to the end here? That would potentially give him a shot, certainly at least of putting one more lap back. And Tyler Lugo Vickery has stayed on the wets. Incredibly interesting. That puts him back. Is that for position with Ian Miller just behind? It is. And all of a sudden, Ian Miller has a shining shot to take this lead back. This has immediately become a battle for the win with 15 laps to go. Wasting no time. He's already on the outside as we work out at turn number 7. Miller to the point. For the first time, not just tonight, for the first time in 6 months, Ian Miller is your leader in the Indy Racing World Series. What's the response from Tyler Lugo Vickery? He's still got to get those tires up into pace. Big dive to the inside out of the final corner. This dogfight is far from done. He'll be following Miller down to the pit lane, now goes wide. Defending low is Ian Miller. Almost nose to tail there as we work out of Sheldon. Oh, big wiggle on exit there. Code brown for Tyler Lugo Vickery. He's got to gather the 6 back up. That is exactly what the doctor ordered for Ian Miller. And it is only going to get spicier. Matthew Faust rejoins in 3rd. Derek Booker back on track. He's down in 4th. Molefield is 5th. He's pitting now for a new pair of kicks. Puntarelli demoted all the way down to 6th. Eddie Martinez is 7th. And even at this point in the race, you are not guaranteed that these are the tires you're going to take to the end. Because we could still be reaching that crossover point at any point. Ian Miller really thinks so. He comes in and jumps in. Is he out of fuel, or is that a calculated decision? Only one way to find out. Again, 15 second gap now between himself and Matthew Faust. Excuse me, 16 seconds. As here's Derek Booker, and that is more trouble for Tyler Lugo Vickery, I believe, who stayed out and just got back out on track. What is going on? There's Tyler Lugo Vickery. Okay. ATBO was making me act like he may or may not have disconnected there, and that was freaking me out. Vickery gonna stay out. Ian Miller drops down to 3rd now. But he is another new driver to go ahead and test those waters. Test the dry, I suppose, as we've got 12 laps to go here at Portland. And Bill Molefield doing the same. He's made the move, just now exiting the pits over to the primaries. And that might be your answer for if that condition is understandable, or if that's okay. And that answer might be a little bit too wet so far for Bill Molefield. We'll see if maybe that was some wrong strategy calls there on fuel, or maybe if tires were involved as well. No issues so far for Ian Miller. What is the lap time differential going to be? I need to stop talking about drivers being good. I need to stop. I'm sorry, Ian. So the answer so far seems like no. As Tyler Lugo Vickery brings that gap up to 17 seconds over Matthew Faust, as he's just now working his way into the final corner and into the grass. Has to do everything he can to keep it off of the wall. Good save there for the 89. Matthew Faust almost being put a lap down as well, though. Oh my goodness. Big wiggle for a Miller there on throttle. Almost shades of Santino Ferrucci as he worked his way back onto the drag strip. So definitely struggling for grip still here as we work our way to 10 to go. Thank you to Garrett Jernigan for throwing a crisp Andrew Jackson our way and giving us $20 against Suicide. Again, that QR code on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, as all of us at Stadium Scene TV work to fight against suicide during this month of September. 10 laps to go. Tyler Lugo Vickery, a 22-second lead over Matthew Faust. in one of the most dominant drives, somehow more dominant than what we saw at Gateway, or at Milwaukee, excuse me. And even with all of that drama, let it be known, he is notably faster. Take a look at those last lap times. It was a 1:01 earlier on last time by, so without mistakes, he is absolutely capable of closing that gap. Connor Hughes, DJ Fluke, and Erik Richardson all retiring at this point. Nine laps to go here at Portland. 23.5-second gap right now. Tyler Lugo Vickery over Matthew Faust. Pace now starting to come back to Ian Miller. 1:08.6 that time by. Even with Vickery quicker than Faust. Joined now by FR Racing showrunner and driver of the 13 out early, Erik Richardson. Let's start with this, Erik. Obviously not the way your night wanted to go, but talk to me about what made this track so difficult for you guys tonight.
It's just a lot of it with the rain and being wet, and I had all sorts of issues on pit exit.
I know it's been kind of a big learning curve for a lot of you guys. Again, just because this is new to iRacing, this is new specifically to IndyCar. This was kind of a wild card you guys threw into this season of the Indy Racing World Series. What's the game plan for further implementation? Are we going to see that potentially again next season? Do we plan on potentially seeing that move over to the Cup Series races for road courses, or God forbid some of the endurance stuff? What's the plan?
I think we'll pretty much just see it with the endurance races, and then depending on what tracks we are running for the Indy Racing World Series, we may do that. Like a Laguna Seca, we're not going to make that a rain race. That would be wild in the corkscrew.
Pace starting to work back towards Ian Miller again. That last lap by, as we try to give you guys a good view of that. Starting to go dead even, so we're reaching finally that crossover point with Ian Miller and Bill Molefield on those dry tires, matching the pace of Lugo Vickery and Faust out in front. I think what kind of caught a lot of people off guard, and we talked about this in the pre-race brief, I think the expectation was maybe, lap 30, lap 35, we were going to see that crossover point. I think not everyone was expecting us to go this long, this deep on these wet tires.
Yeah, we kind of thought the track would dry up a little bit quicker, but with a field of only 10, it's going to add a little bit of time to that drying.
Ian Miller on his triumphant return to Stadium CNTV, to the Indy Racing World Series. Looks for a podium at worst. Derek Booker, one lap down. Puntarelli, Bill Molefield, and others a handful of laps down. Big wiggle there from Ian Miller. And again, we talk about what the most difficult part of this course is. I feel like knee-jerk everybody says maybe Sheldon Chicane. because of the game of inches, you're kind of playing with the wall and trying to plan launch. That final complex of corners, you're asking so much of the car, constantly braking and turning, and especially in these conditions, it's been so hard to make it through there without locking up and just sailing off to the outside.
Yeah, you know, as I was driving to run through practice, that final 10, 11, 12 combination, it's tricky when it's dry. Very much so.
Tricky when it's dry, even trickier when it's wet. But we look at the kind of expertise that Ian Miller has been known for and has always kind of come in as a road course ringer, has kind of surprised himself with the oval pace he had last season. So no surprise now to see him almost a second and a half quicker than Tyler Lugo Vickery with 5 laps to go. But you look at, again, the challenge that everyone has kind of been required to learn here, and that's, you know, driving on the absolute limit of grip here. As, again, another phenomenal closing of gaps there. Still 42 seconds, unfortunately, to the leader. It will definitely be a little too late. But it is going to be very, very interesting to see what the decisions are here from TLV and Matthew Faust. I'd reckon with 5 laps to go and with 40 seconds, maybe just stay out on the wets and just pray they overheat. Or pray they don't overheat. I'm not sure if that was an issue on track. I know you guys earlier, Eric, were kind of looking for puddles, looking for places to maximize grip, and heat also being a factor there in temperature management. But what do you reckon would be the strategy right now for Tyler and Matthew? Go and kind of stretch these out, or maybe think about moving over to these dry tires in the final laps?
Yeah, I think Tyler could maybe give it a shot and come in and get those dry tires on. I think there might be just enough moisture in the track with these last few laps that he could back off his pace and good 2-3 seconds and be just fine. Matt, to stay in that P2 position, I think it's almost got to be a shadow game. If Ian pits, he can go. If it's going to be a toss-up anyway.
Stays out this time with now 4 laps to go. And Matthew Faust has not been able to close that gap so far in these conditions in the crossover point. Tyler Lugo Vickery really coming alive, the driver with real-life stock car experiences. Certainly comfortable with cars being loose. You see that with the new Smyrna Speedway branding on the side of his race car. He knows what it's like to be on the absolute edge of grip in real life, and he's putting that to virtual use right now.
Yeah, he's doing a great job managing right now. They're all doing good at getting to that inside and outside wall on that front stretch, just trying to find that water to cool those things down.
Miller, notable and consistent improvement. Again, everybody up in front running high 7s and mid 8s. And Ian Miller now down to low 6s, but again, could be too little, too late. Lugo Vickery staying out. Same for Matthew Faust, it appears, for the time being. But you look at Matthew Faust, exactly where he wants to be for the time being. Hunter Hughes, his championship rival, down in 8th and out of this race. And it is absolutely just damage control. Or I guess giving himself insurance would be the right way to say it at this point, with 3 rounds to go. And he's exactly where he needs to be. Maybe would like to be 1 spot further up over Tyler Lugo Vickery, but I think will not be upset with the P2 finish at all. Derek Booker also making that move over to the dries at this point now, Eric.
Yeah, just watching Faust getting a little bit loose coming out of that opening chicane. Yeah, he's got to be excited about a P2 finish here, kind of consolidate that points lead, especially if the 3 tracks coming up with Las Vegas, Iowa, and Indianapolis, all 3 just wild, chaotic tracks.
Let's take a look at the remainder of the schedule very quickly. As Eric just mentioned to you guys, we head from here over to Las Vegas for 100 laps. That will be after this bye week, and then we will have another bye week after that, will be nonstop, though, all the way to Indianapolis. I feel like this might be a gimme question for the guy born and raised in Indianapolis, but was going to ask what you're most looking forward to here in the final 3 rounds. I think that final 100-lap half-distance 500 is looking a little extra enticing to you right about now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to surprise you, though. That Iowa race is one that I've had starred since the start of the season.
Very nice. Unfortunately, not a place we will be seeing in the real-life world of IndyCar racing next year, losing that spot to me and DJ's home race of Phoenix. Maybe DJ a little bit more than me, but I'm not sure if you've seen it so far, but as Tyler Lugo Vickery sees the white flag here, your thoughts on the IndyCar season getting announced this morning?
I kind of like it. It's spaced out nicely. I like how the races are added at the front end. It's not run St. Pete and then we don't see them for a month, give or take. I wish we could have seen another couple races added into the schedule, maybe another oval. Maybe my biggest question mark is the double Milwaukee race.
We'll have to wait and see. As speaking of Milwaukee, your last winner in the virtual world here was Tyler Lugo Vickery. And the joke in the Discord was it's been such a sea of chaos to see him find his way to victory. And yes, it has been chaos, but everywhere except around him. The number 6 of Tyler Lugo Vickery has found his way to the front and stayed there. It's been a little bit of drama, sure, a couple mistakes here and there, but by and large, he has been rock solid this entire race. Out of turn 10 for the final time, a long-awaited second victory here in Season 6. The Twin Checkers are out. Tyler Lugo Vickery takes victory here in the Grand Prix of Portland.
Yeah, it was a fantastic drive from Tyler here tonight.
An incredible 30-second gap as we're still watching your second-place driver, Matthew Faust, in what should be the 89, what is actually the 45. That's a Jackson issue with custom numbers. But the MyJack 45 machine works his way out. He has fought tooth and nail with Hunter Hughes and won that war of attrition to come with a healthy points gain to the end of the season. Welcome back to the podium as well, Ian Miller. That gap going down to just 2 seconds. Were we racing for another 5 laps? That could have been a proper battle and maybe a true crossover, but a great return to form there for Ian Miller in that Arrow McLaren 48. Derek Booker coming home in P5 just across the line with Lucas Puntarelli, Bill Molefield, Eddie Martinez, Hunter Hughes, DJ Fluck, and the guy in the booth with me, Erik Richardson, rounding out your field of 10. Step aside for a moment and get your podium here from Portland in just a moment. Stay with us. Here with your podium for the Grand Prix of Portland. It was a hard-fought battle for everyone in the field, and it was a triumphant return for Ian Miller in the 48 Arrow McLaren machine. I really don't want to try and play the pun game here, but you really did get thrown in the deep end here with a rainy Portland. Talk to me about your return drive here for the Indy Racing World Series.
I mean, I had put some time in. I knew what I was getting myself into. It's just a shame that my my black box bugged on me and decided to get rid of my selection for wets at the start. So that's kind of what threw me down the order, and I think I recovered pretty well. But without that extra pit stop, I'm sure I would have been at least in the fight with the lead. But Tyler had a pretty good pace.
Still, for sure, a shot across the bow with that pace. I mean, 2 seconds the gap between yourself and Matt. Although, albeit our road course specialist here, unfortunately has 3 ovals to deal with for the remainder of the season. Talk to me about those. Still, how much of a confidence boost this is. It does maybe feel like riding a bike here after half a year off.
I was just I'll be honest. This is my first race of the season, so and I'm not entirely sure I'll come through. I'll probably come back for Indy, but just kind of wanted to put my nose in the ring. I've been racing with y'all for years now, so I'm not going to miss the opportunity for our first official league rain race.
The unforgettable, unreplaceable Ian Miller. Phenomenal drive, Ian. We'll hope to see you down the road.
Yeah, thank you.
P2 for Matthew Faust. Matty, brilliantly boring, the mantra for Scott Dixon. It kind of felt like your battle as well there, and just kind of letting everyone make the incidents around you. Talk to me about your race, though, behind the wheel.
Yeah, I was honestly trying to think back to like certain parts of the race, and I can't even remember them. That's how locked in I was. But yeah, Scott Dixon's probably the best analogy there. I didn't really have the pace, and I knew I wouldn't, but in a race like this, it's just survival, and with the points battle the way it is, I just wanted to stay clean. Luckily, staying clean was for P2. I think Ian was definitely catching me there, and yeah, I was just trying to run my race, not wreck, and it worked out for P2. I'll take it.
It's been a Scott Dixon approach to the race today. It has been a Scott Dixon approach to your championship as well, just consistent podiums and top fives. What's the mindset here as we work into the final 3 races of the championship to try and hold that lead over Hunter?
Well, I'm just glad it doesn't rain on ovals, that's for sure. But we'll take it one step at a time. Biggest thing, like I said earlier, and like I say every week, just staying out of wrecks, getting good finishes, and the points will do themselves, take care of themselves. So not too worried. Hopefully, we'll see.
Great driving from you, Matt. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time here.
Thank you, man.
Tyler Lugo Vickery finally getting that second win. I know it's been hard fought, and I know the joke was it takes chaos for you to work your way in, and maybe that was the case with everybody else, but it was hard for you to be beaten today. Talk to me about if that dominance felt the same for you behind the wheel.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, we see what Hunter can do on the road course. The same with Ian. The one advantage that I like with these Indy cars is strategy. Especially with all the connections I've had with IndyCar years and years ago. I keep forgetting to tell you too. I had in another league race way back in 2016 that I was racing with some guys that now work with NASCAR. We also got to work with and race with at that time when James Hinchcliffe was racing his strategist for that was working for under James Hinchcliffe's race car during that time frame from 2016 to 2018. He actually raced with us, so we got to learn a lot from him, and he actually communicated with us during the middle of racing and stuff too, during the real life racing. So we learned a lot of his decisions and stuff, and I felt like that helped out a lot, especially when it came to I had no idea that we had that it was going to also have rain. I was just going through the motions thinking that it was just going to be a normal race, completely forgetting that they were going to do a rain session with it. So it worked out in my favor because I figured when I seen the amount of cars we had, we didn't have a lot of cars. So I figured, all right, well, I don't know if it's going to dry up fast enough to where it warrants dry tires, which, I mean, unfortunately, when Hunter took that risk, it bit him back, and that was the one time I was keeping an eye on his lap times to see whether or not that was going to be the move, whether or not I need a box to try to cover him. But when he wrecked and everything and in front of Lucas, I started figuring out that I needed to probably just stay on the wets the entire time. And even when Ian finally went in the pits for dries, I just felt like it was still not going to be enough, just be based on how these cars were rolling. But we were still getting a ton of wheel spin as well. So it was, I just love strategy.
That's how you've worked your way to the front. It's how you found yourself to victory again today. Really, really great driving from you. Great strategy as well, Tyler. We'll see you in a couple weeks here for Vegas.
Absolutely. Shout out to my mom and Chris Cutting. They both like to watch the broadcasts all the time. So
sweet.
Hopefully we were able to put on a good show for them and everything. So I got a shout out to New Smyrna Speedway and everything. Hopefully I'll be out there real life racing soon. We've had too many rainouts, and so that's going to be the fun part with that. But hopefully I get it back out on the track soon.
The rain has found its way into the virtual world, and Tyler did not get set back for it. Race winner for Portland, Tyler Lugo, victory, as we'll put it into the books for tonight. Here's your race results after 50 laps here at Portland, and it was a dominant win for Tyler Lugo, victory. As I can try and get that gap, I cannot. Over Matthew Faust, Ian Miller, Derek Booker, Lucas Puntarelli, Bill Molefield, Eduardo Martinez, Hunter Hughes, DJ Fluck, and Erik Richardson, rounding out your field of 10. That'll be it for us from Portland. We're off next Tuesday night, but we'll be back the following Tuesday, September 30th, when we go for 100 laps in Sin City. Until then, for everyone at Stadium Scene TV, I'm Jackson Lambros saying thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night for Wednesday Night Dash.